This computer, oh gosh, seems like, okay. All right, so Spanish title, you put in here, trabajo de limpieza. Okay, so you put both languages. That way, when somebody sees the form, they can click Spanish and English. This really helps you convert more applicants because sometimes there's people that have, you know, all their legal documents, they understand English, but when you open up the Spanish part of it, it's gonna help you bring them, I guess, reduce the fear of failing during the process of filling an interview. It's because, you know, that's the reason, is the nature of us as humans. We want to deal with, do business with, apply, work with people that, you know, speak our same language. So you do that there. This is an additional text. Let's put here, amazing job. Please call if any question. Obviously here you really want to put in, obviously, a real copy, but I want to show you how this looks into the form. Espectacular. Okay, so you have basically in Spanish and English, and now this question says if this has terms and conditions that they should accept. And my recommendation is that you always have it as yes, because all this copy that you see here, these are basically the disclosures and the rights that people have to check when they are releasing their information to you, like driver's license and social security, because eventually you're gonna run a background check, and then you don't want to go back and say, hey, you forgot to sign this, please sign it. So we're making this process and simplifying the hiring process. That way you don't have to waste time. So I recommend that you have it on. That way you know that you already have the permission to run background checks on them. Now, you can change this or delete it if you wanted to, but you can also add new ones. So you click here, and then you will write your own terms of conditions that you need to. This gray section is mandatory and it cannot be changed because it's the basic data that we need for the system to work. So first name, middle name, last name, birthdays, cell phone, email address, country, state, city, and zip. All of that is mandatory for the system to work. And now we get into the questions. So the system comes with basic template of questions. I recommend that you use them and that you keep the scores that the way they are set up. Why you want to ask these things? Because you want to be upfront and just be, know if this person has permission to work in the US or Canada or Australia, which we've had some people now using it in those countries. I know Canada has some, they cannot collect it, so they can delete that. You need to have a valid driver's license, yes, 1 point, and the state, the number, and if they have a reliable vehicle for driving to jobs. All that is very important. Now, if you want to say, for example, Maggie, which lives in New York City, maybe she doesn't need people to drive a car. They just take the train. So you could pretty much delete this question or just put 0 points to that because it doesn't make a difference. But in Dallas or larger cities, most of the US, people need to have a vehicle to go to jobs. So, I still get applicants that email us sometimes like, hey, I have everything that you want, except I don't have a car. Can you guys pick me up? Like, I'm sorry, our business model doesn't work where we pick up people for work. You got to go to the jobs on your own. So, if somebody says, no to have a vehicle, I simply cannot hire them. And I think that's for most of us in the States. So then let's start to create a new question. So we have these 6 options here, and the short answer is to say, for example, you know, what do you think about the weather? Oh, it's great weather, whatever. Paragraph is to write more than just a short answer. These are basically open questions. Ask people to choose one answer. That is basically one answer. So yes or no, or ice cream could be, what is your favorite ice cream? Oh, vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, right? Now this next one is, let's let people select multiple answers. So this could be like, you know, what are your, you know, favorite types of foods? They can select multiple: Mexican, Asian, whatever. And then those are the type of questions that allow you to create scorings. So for example, if you have one of the questions I like to ask is, has your license, your driver's license, ever been suspended? And then you put it in Spanish, and then so be ha sido su licencia alguna vez suspendida. The help text is basically a little copy that will support. So I'm gonna put here, please be honest. Obviously you can type anything. This is mostly used to clarify a question, the help text, but I'm gonna show you how it looks once we show the form. Is this question required? Yes, it's required. Has sensitive information? No. The only sensitive information fields that we consider are social security and driver's license number. What we do with those fields, when you put yes, we encrypt that information. That way, in the transmission from the website to the servers, there's no one that can see those numbers. So we keep that encrypted in the system. That way the applicants are safe and there's no problem with that. So I'm gonna put no. Show a candidate's funnel. Let's put yes for the sample. And I'm gonna put 2 choices. Yes, C, score 0. And then I'm gonna add a new choice. No, no, and I'm gonna give 1 point here. Why the points? So when I created this system, the biggest drawback for me from everything that I was doing, either be spreadsheets, whiteboard, any process that I was using for hiring people, when I received a bunch of paper or a bunch of applications, I couldn't decide easily and quickly who should I hire, who should I talk to. And I came up with the idea of why I don't create like a point system that will just tell me, hey, just talk to these people. So what we did basically was to create questions and assign points. And when I started to realize that it was a very effective way to separate and distinguish good applicants, bad applicants, and simply unqualified applicants. Because when you start getting, 20, 30 applicants and you have to go through 20 or 30, then your time starts to become, very thin. You have to really invest your time where you get the most return. And that's why we created this scoring system. And at the core of Pipehire, really, that's the most important thing that you can, the system does, because it really separates the people based on the score, which then lets you focus on the most important people. And those are the people that you call immediately. The other ones, if their scores are not great, but could be like a B player, you call them later. But you've got to focus on the A players. And I usually like to keep between 8 to 10 points. You can do more than that, of course, but 8 to 10 points is the ideal number. because when you see it 9 and 10, then you know, okay, let me call them immediately. Anything below that, you're like, okay, 7 maybe, let's see what's up with the 7, but I really don't want to hire anybody below 8 because they're missing something important for me. That's why they got a 7. So I saved the question. Now it's here. So we have basically 1 point, 2 point, 3, 4. We got a 4-point system at this moment. We're talking about a 10-point system. That means that we have to create 6 more questions that each one is 1 point, or we might be able to create a question that has maybe 2 points. For example, one of my favorite questions is, how did you find about us? So I put it here. How did you hear about us? Oh, well, I'll give you this. This is a multiple answer.
I've actually got 20 points on line 1.
Okay.
Got a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's valid. The important thing is that you know what's your threshold. What is, I guess, Jamie, are you what, from 17 to 20 is what you consider a good applicant?
About 16 to 20 is good for me. Actually, I hired somebody yesterday that came through Pipehire, and they were a 19. So
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, there you go. So you need to know what's your numbers. That way, when you see the number, you know who to call. That's the most important thing. Let's say so I'm creating now a multiple answer question here, and I'm gonna put 2 points to this question and 0 points to the rest. Why? Because this is actually coworker. Why I give 2 points to coworker? Because those are the people that will be the easiest to transform into an employee. It's just like a client. When a client refers another client and you call them, you barely have to do any selling. You just go straight into it. People say yes to everything. And when somebody, is working with you, they refer a friend, this friend applies and says, hey, Maria told me about your job, I'm really interested. And you see the rest of the things, she's pretty much sold on the job. You don't have to sell them the job because her friend recommended with you, and this means she wants to work at a reliable place. Yesterday I posted some ads, but I texted my employees, hey guys, we're hiring. Somebody refer me an employee. She applied yesterday. What happened today? She got interviewed. She's being trained tomorrow. That's it. I didn't have to go to Indeed. I didn't have to spend thousands of dollars on Indeed to get an applicant. I just went to my database of actual employees and asked them for referrals. And as soon as I see the numbers, and I tell my employees, she a good employee? Yeah, she's amazing. She just left. She doesn't have a job now because of the COVID. So it's like, okay, bring him on. And that's where you get employees pretty quickly. And a coworker, in my opinion, is one of the most important questions. So now we have a 6 point. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Do you offer any kind of referral bonus to your employee for referring them?
I do. $250 after 3 months.
$250 after 3 months?
Yeah, that 3 months. Yep. Yes. Very important, because it's a little reward for them to remember, hey, if I refer somebody, they make the effort at least to call their friends and text a couple of people, and that's important. So, okay, so we basically have a basic form here. If we want to add a new section, it could be like, a cleaning quiz, or You can do that too.
Hey, Juan, I had a little
Yeah.
tip on scoring the questions.
Yeah,
Maybe you can explain it better than I can, but I'll tell you what I do.
sure.
So hypothetically, if you're scoring out of 10, say you have 10 questions, each question is worth 1 point. And let's say an applicant scores a 9. So you're kind of thinking you're going to hire them. But the reason they lost the point was because they don't have a driver's license. So that to me is a showstopper. I can't hire them. I need that. So what I do is for the driver's license question, that's worth 10 points. So now I score out of 20. So every applicant has to be between 11 to 20. I know they have a driver's license.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't even have to look at those people in the funnel that are below a 10 because I know that for a fact they don't have a driver's license.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I know if somebody scores a 9, they're not. One system, you would think they were great and hire them immediately, but in actual fact, they don't have a driver's license unless they're 11 and above. So I know, don't even look at that 9. That's why my points are so high, is because I heavily weight a few of the questions.
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie. That's a great way to see it. Yeah, there's some questions that are deal breakers, and you can give more points to those questions.
If I could chip in, this is Maggie as well, 2 seconds. What Jamie also told me, because, you know, I don't need driver's license here. It's a nice thing. But let's say we have a big problem of undocumented people. So every question, like regarding social security number, or like, are you authorized to work in the United States? I did, instead of giving a point or 0 points, I did -10. So they will never reach above, let's say, 4 points. So automatically, I don't even look at those applicants.
Yeah.
You know, so that's, yeah. So thanks to Jamie and Jackie, you know, they were.
Yeah, you can do minus points too. Yeah, if you want to literally just not even cross 5 points, you can do that. Cool. Any other questions, guys, in building the questions or not? No? Okay. I'm just making a sample here or to show you the section.
Juan, I have a question regarding the Spanish translation as well. So I'm already set up with the Pipehire, but actually it's a great idea for me to add it in Spanish as well. So now, first of all, if I update it to Spanish, does it automatically like I can mess around with my form, or I have to start over? And then also, if let's say I don't have to start over, but I can add it to my current form, does it automatically update on the website?
Yeah, immediately.
Okay, so if I go to my
code, it's a dynamic code, so it changes as soon as you update it in your site. It updates on your website or whatever you've shared that link. It updates immediately.
Okay, so I can go to my form. Okay, so I can go to my form and press that I want bilingual.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So we created this full-time housekeeper application. Then, you know, you can share this URL while you share it with your developer or whoever's working on your website, and you can embed it there. The embedded code is right here. So you just what you want to do is just copy this and send it to your website guy and say, hey, please put this code on my jobs page or careers page. And that's it. You don't, that's everything has to be done, nothing more. It's not easy, it's not complicated. Just send that and they will do it. So let's look at the form we created here. So we created 2 sections, the cleaning quiz section and the personal info. And then the form is gonna help you, you know, fill this. Obviously the logo here, you can change it here. So make sure you're uploading your company logo. That way your application shows your company logo, not our logo. All right. So let me put here test applicant. Test applicant. So you guys can see the process. Oh, Canada, let's do US, California, and any city here. Authorize, yes. You put your social. Yes, United States. All right, and I put here coworker. And the cleaning quiz, this is a random question. When you click on these links, you can see here the actual documentation that's required that our background check provider gives us. So that's their basically documentation. And then you go to send application. I forgot to show you the Spanish, but let's look at it. Once they submit it in Spanish, they see that confirmation in Spanish. Let's look at the form in Spanish completely. They have to click here, Spanish, and immediately it changes the copy. So now you go back to your funnel, and then we have, we look at our form. When you have different forms, different jobs, you have different funnels. So there's a drop down here for funnels. Somebody called me yesterday and said, I don't see my applicants. Like, you had several forms, so make sure you drag and pick the right form. So we pick this form, and we see here our test applicant got 6 points, and let's see why. So we look at, see, okay, this is because she had a suspended license. So that's what brought her to 6 points. And the cleaning quiz, and then you have a notes section here that you can type. Now, let's say that you want to run a background check on this person. You click here, and then you select the package that you want. One has, they're exactly the same. The difference is motor vehicle report is included in one, and the other is just includes the motor vehicle report. You select here, the system is going to do something. It's going to verify that you have 9 digits in the social security box and that you have a driver license number and a state. If you try to run a background check on a social security that's bad, the system will let you know. It says, hey, we cannot run a background check on this social. You will not be charged for it. It's my understanding. And then if it's a good one, then you will see a background check. Now let's see how a background check looks like. I have it over here. Give me a second. Okay. You guys see it? Yes?
Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, perfect. All right, so a background check basically is gonna have 2 statuses. One clear that you see here, and one that's considered is shown as a red tag. So this is a sample here of first page. You will have the name of the person. Then a summary is gonna show you the trace of the social security, meaning if it's a valid social. It's gonna show you if it's been on the sex offender search list, global watch list, national search, county searches, and motor vehicle searches. So our reports that we have with Checker are very, very in-depth background checks. And then this is what you see. You see their full name, last name, birth, social, their email, driver's license, and then you will see basically all of these. And it shows you all the counties they lived. And if there's a problem with something, you will see here red. So if the social is bad or has some type of issue, you will see it as red instead of green. That way your eyes go to that. All right, and then you will see the motor vehicle report completed. And then you will see if it's a valid driver's license, very important, and what type of class, when was issued, and the expiration date. And then you will see violations. So if you have a position that's, all of us have a position of driving pretty much, and we see a lot of speeding problems, you know, and we see tickets, and then we can see this person is not really solving these problems. It could be a problematic employee. So there's additional FAQs that I have here included. If you go to our help center and you click here and then you go to employee section, you will find what I just showed you guys. How to run a background check, how does it look like, and now where do you find it in the system? So you go into the employee section, you go into the, let me actually show you the actual employee. So you go look into this person here, and then once you run a background check, you will see it here attached as a PDF. And then when you click the PDF, you will see what I show you, a report, a PDF with all the details. And you will always have it there for you handy. All right, any questions, guys, so far?
Yeah, does it email the application to them so they can get approved for the background check?
What do you mean, Brian?
Well, you got to get verified, you know, so they can.
They're okay, you mean?
Yeah, meaning they approve you doing a background check on them.
Okay. The way we cover that is when they're filling their form. We have the questions. I'll show you here again. When you're doing your form, you have a question here. It says terms and conditions. And these are the disclosures. All this copy here are the disclosures for that. So when they finish the form, they are checking those boxes.
Okay.
That is your permission to run a background check. So you don't have to ask them again, and then you're done with that. Okay. That's one of the things that accelerates the process of hiring somebody, because you don't have to go and do that again.
And
I was just wondering, Juan, so up here in Canada, I usually get the RCMP to do the police check or the criminal records check, and then they give me a form. I make a PDF and I just upload it into the customer or the employee file. Do you know if this specific company or corporation that you're using to do criminal record checks, are they able to do like Canadians or Cubans or Australians or any other country? They
do Canada. We sign up with them. We're still working on it. It's different than the US standard. So we have to create in the system, like, a location by the company. So that way the checker settings for Canada apply. And that's something that we have to, I need to check with my team.
Okay, so for now,
what's the status on that? But we applied to Checker Canada. So, and I know we got approved. We just need to know where in the process we are with that, because he told me it was a bit more complicated than the US, but we have it in our pipeline to do it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Let me give the Vanessa had the next word. Lucy, give me a second. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Okay.
Juan, at what point do you recommend running the background check in the interview process? after a week of training, before hiring?
Typically, once I meet them in person, and obviously I did the, the application, normal application, and then I decided to meet them in person, and I like the person at that point, and I feel like, okay, I'm gonna send them to training and hire them, most likely. I usually do it at the moment of sending them to training, because at that point, I'm pretty investing into them. I'm pretty sold about it, because I'm gonna send them to a customer's house to train, right? And I want to make sure I don't send just anyone to their home, even though they say they don't have any issues. Before I put them, basically, I put them into anyone's home. I do their background check, because anything can happen, and you don't know who's this person. So that's to cover you from liability. You just do it before you send them to anyone's home or to train. Some people do it after they hire them, but I think it could be too late, especially if you found that they have violations in their driver's license, and they sometimes don't know about these violations. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I had tickets and I had a suspended license. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What happened? You just wasted a week of training. You wasted time, money, efforts versus hiring somebody, or versus spending $40 at the beginning and, have the answers immediately.
Got it. That makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Lucy.
Just the information, the way you were talking is they call the E-Verify. That's the same thing?
No, the E-Verify, it's the process from the government to verify if their social has or can work in the US, because sometimes there's social securities that are good, are valid, but they don't have the permit to work. I know many years ago, they used to give social security numbers to anyone, but they say down there, this social security cannot work, or is not for working, something like that. But it's a good social security, and you can run a background check. But the E-Verify is to specifically find out if this social security can work and can be used for working. We have in our pipeline, we're not doing it right now, but we have in our pipeline the integration with I-9, which does the E-Verify process. That way you can know exactly with a couple of clicks if this person can work or not.
But you don't have it included yet.
No, because we have to apply with the government. It's more a complicated process.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have it in our radar. Yeah.
Thank you.
Juan, this is Maggie. I have another question. So do you know approximately how long does it take to get the background check back?
Yeah, typically it depends on the courts on the counties where these persons live. I get typically most of my applicants lived in Dallas for years, so in most of them I get it in 2-3 days. If it's they came from another county or there's parts of the country, the more remote parts of the country, those courts usually have or tend to take longer because they don't have sometimes all the information. It's not digitized or it's not public on the web. But I think the average is 5 to 7 business days.
Wowza, great, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. I've seen them come in the same day, by the way. Sometimes, same day, but that's depending on the actual county. All right, so let's move on here to post to job. So when you create a form, we have something we built in the system called jobs. So when you click here, basically the system will tell you to post your job here. And this is this is something we're doing. We call it like it's a free way for us to promote everyone's jobs. We're obviously trying to improve our experience to our customers and people who use it. And, you know, these are basically jobs that are, you know, from companies that are using Pipehire that I wanted to publish it. Our goal with this jobs page is to really build a good landing page for house cleaning residential jobs across the country. So our goal is to eventually drive traffic to this page and get you guys leads. That is part of our goal. There is no cost for this right now or anything. Our goal is to, you know, bring you leads by being a user of our system. And obviously this page is very new. It doesn't have a lot of copy yet. It's not very attractive, but we plan on improving it, making some SEO adjustments and making it, you know, searchable by city, by state, by salary range. And that's something that we have in our pipeline, but it's there. And, you know, it's an extra place that you can have maybe an applicant find you and apply. So let's go back to our understanding lead scoring. Is there anyone has questions about lead scoring? Everybody understands it very well. That's the most important thing from the whole system, is this scoring.
I have a question, Juan, about background check companies. Is Checker automatically linked to Pipehire rather?
It is.
I know I have. I've been using a different company. Am I able to continue to use them, or do I need to switch to Checker because I'm using Pipehire?
And you don't. You can continue using. Who are you using? The advantage of using it in Checker is that it's integrated into the system. So you already have, when somebody applies, you already have their name, their info, their address, and what you do is literally with the click of a button, run the background check. And that is amazing. So you don't have to open a new company, a new browser, submit their application, and, you know, for the cost, I don't know, typically, I think most people pay like $30, $35, and ours are $45, but we're really not making anything on those checks because they cost more because they're so fast. Uber and Instacart, big companies uses them, and they're very quick and very good. So we're not making anything on those. It's just a way for us to give a product a better solution, make it better. One of the things that it's built into that is that if somebody lands in your funnel into the applicant stage, right, and you run a background check, the system, when it clears the background check, you will move them to qualified automatically. So you see here it says Checker to run. Yeah. It will say here Checker clear, and it will be a green tag underneath their name, on top of their name. So that's one of the advantages of the integration, that you always know their background checks are you know, built into the system. And one of the goals that we have in our development is that every year, or every how often you want, you can tell the system to automatically run a background check for you. That way, if somebody gets in trouble during those years of employment with you and you don't know, the system will tell you, hey, you know, so-and-so has been has now, you know, a problem with their driver's license. This will help you avoid problems. That's part of the benefits of the integration.
Okay, thank you.
That answers your question. Thank you. Using the funnel, that is very important. And it's, let me close this. So when you want to use the funnel, basically you have these functions of drag and drop. You can move people to any stage. This is a funnel. The typical funnel is, you know, is vertical. Now we're working on a horizontal funnel because obviously the screen. But the goal is that everybody that arrives as an applicant comes really ends up working with you. So we're advancing, we're moving these people from stage to stage. Now, when I drag it into to be interviewed, you're gonna be asked if you want to interview them and pick a date. So you say, yeah, I want to interview them tomorrow at 12 p.m. and you can send a text notification, or you can only save it if you want, and now no text. And at that point, you basically have a person that's now on your interview calendar, and it will be shown here. So you will have this test applicant here, and you can edit it if you want to another day. That is very important, because when you're in the hiring mode and you have, a lot of people to interview, you really want to have a schedule dedicated to that. You cannot put it in your scheduling system. You want to have your hiring manager or yourself looking at that schedule and really say, okay, tomorrow we have 3 interviews, and next day 2, and so forth. If you want to modify the day of the interview, you just click on this little green icon. And if you really like somebody, you can favorite this or feature them, and you just click the star, and it will make that funny, spinning star. That way your eyes, immediately when you look at this screen, or your hiring manager looks at this screen, it's like, oh, I know I need to talk. These are my favorite people. Now, if you need to archive this person or this applicant, you just click here, and then you have all these options why you are archiving them. So that is part of the options that we have. When you archive them, you're not deleting them. That's different. When you archive them, they are hidden behind show archived. Why you don't want to delete your leads? Because this lead might not be ready today, but it could be ready in the next 3 to 6 months or the next year, because maybe they didn't have a car at that point, but now they do have a car, and now it becomes a lead. So I've collected about 600 or so emails from applicants from the last years. Every time I need to find a new employee, I send a blast email and a text email to that list. Immediately I get flooded again with new interviews, new applicants from them and their referrals. So you don't spend money paying for Indeed or paying for more systems. You automatically have them in your system and just send a blast. That's the way to recycle those leads. You don't want to throw them away. Obviously, if there's a bad applicant, that's obviously an invalid applicant, you can delete it here. You can do that. Now,
Juan, I have a question regarding sending mass email. Can we integrate Pipehire with MailChimp through Zapier or other programs, or you have different option in
not at the moment. We are not haven't been asked too much about that. We think we could probably do an integration with Zapier, but not at the moment. So for now, I tell them is, those applicants, you just put them into your, CRM or system that you're sending emails, and then you blast them.
Thank you.
But that is the answer right now. Thank you. Now, what else we want to work here? Let me look at my notes here. Okay, we already showed you how to use the funnel. Now, when you make an employee an applicant, or how do you make somebody an employee really, is when you drag them to the active working stage. The active working stage is very important because this means that your applicant is officially an employee, and then two things happen. The employment start date gets edited to today. So we drag this employee to today, then you see employment started today. Now, if you're adding or somebody from the past, years ago you hired them, then you just go here and modify these to whatever year that you hired them. And then when you hire them, their employment started, their employment anniversary will be a year from today. So that's an automatic reminder for you. And their birthday also reminds you. So on February, 2nd, it will tell you that, her birthday is today. So those are two important things. And now also you get all these new tabs as soon as you drag somebody to employee. Why? Because now you need to do a face-to-face interview, which we have scoring as well. This is a questionnaire that I have that I can share with you guys, and you put those scores here. And then based on their answers, you will know if this person is a good hire or not. And then also you have the onboarding tabs where you have all the documents you need to collect from an employee. So as soon as you're hiring this person, you're onboarding this person, you start to check the boxes of whatever you're collecting. And then all this copy is modifiable, is editable. So you can add new lines, delete them, change them, whatever you need to. Then the documents, when you receive documents from people, those documents have expiration. So what you do is you go here and select, for example, driver's license. And you say, this driver's license expires in July 1st, 2021. And at that point, you will remember, or the system will remind you via notifications here. On this top notification, it will tell you when this person, it will tell you 30 days before the expiration. So you do that for every document that has an expiration. That way you're not forgetting about those things. It will save you time and headaches. Now, trainings is so important these days that you need to track training. So basically you can check off the testings that or trainings that you're doing with this employee, and you can select dates as well with the expiration. So if next year we have to do the GBAC again, then you just select the date and then remind yourself of next year redoing it again with those employees. This is fully editable, so you can change this to your custom preferences. We have the benefits list as well that you can check off whatever benefit you offer.
Can I interrupt you? You mentioned that was editable, and that was one of the questions I was going to have for you. The onboarding, documents, and training tabs. I don't see an edit button. I do have to edit some of those. Oh, okay. There it is.
You go to employee attributes, and then you change them here. And you can reorganize them.
So the employee attributes.
It's called employee attributes, yeah. Great question. So yeah, that was part of what I want to show you guys. So you can, all of these tabs that I show you, which are processes that save you from forgetting about things, you can change them, modify them, and
click on that.
Make them custom to your business.
And click on that.
That is all right here.
Sorry, Juan, I kind of missed it. So I'm in employees. I brought up an employee. Oh, it's under the account settings. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Employee attributes.
Oh, it's employee attributes. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Under settings, you guys can really change the funnel statuses, the names. You can also change the employee attributes. You can change, or you can add users. Like if you have office staff that wants to use the system, you do it there. And notifications. So the notifications are also here. So you can say, you can turn them off, turn them on, depending on your style of management. All right. Cool. Well, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover, guys. That is really the 101 implementation of the software. Is there any more questions that you guys have?
Just a little bit of happy news. We got lots of applicants coming in, and we hired some employees through Pipehire.
Cool. Thank you.
They start tomorrow.
Good. Thank you. Well, I want to say that, or thank you guys publicly, because you guys were the very first company to start using Pipehire, and you guys been crucial and very important in the process to help us polish the product. And I really want to say thank you for believing in our product. and helping us, spread the word to other people. And I know it's helping you. That is for us the most important thing, is helping your business and make it easier. And and that's what brings us joy, because what we wanted to build is something that will help small businesses grow and change. And when I see you guys start getting your applicants and hiring, and that makes us happy. So thank you guys.
Well, and for anybody that doesn't have Pipehire yet, like I would just say, maybe because we were one of the first, and we are in a different country, I just want to say Pipehire is like Juan and Louis and his team. They're super quick at making changes. Like there was a few things that we wanted to customize for Canada, and those implementations were done that night. It was to add our provinces instead of the states, and just to change little things like from social security number to social insurance number, just little nuances like that. No, there was no showstoppers in Pipehire, but there was just those little nuances. And when I reached out to their team, they were changed like usually that night. And it's been a great experience so far, and it's definitely saved us. I don't even know how many hours. I'd probably guess like maybe like at least 8 to 10 hours a week. Going through resumes. It's definitely a lifesaver there.
Yeah. And when I met Juan in CBF Live, which I've met some of you that are here on the call tonight, I knew I was immediately sold on it when I did that conference there, second tier. And Jamie didn't come with me. And Jamie is really the techie guru type person like Juan and Louis. So I said to Juan,
he is, yeah.
If Jamie's sold on this, then you got a gold mine, because I knew that I needed this, because Jamie, I got him to do all my hiring for me because I was tired of it. But I also didn't want to give him 15 hours a week of hiring. So when I seen this product, I'm like, this is a gold mine for anybody that's doing the hiring process. And the reason I share this, if everybody is on Pipehire right now, I know Juan's going to be doing this, putting this in the Facebook group, hopefully. So this is for all the people that are going to be watching the replay, like to really to know that this is a gold mine. Jump on, make a call with Juan. You really need to get this into your life.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. It's really what help us as in my own cleaning business to grow and change, because you don't have many hours in the day to find the right people. You have to let the system do it for you. You do the last checks, but you let the system do the heavy lifting, and that is something that I that's why I built this. I see Vanessa's hand. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Hi, Juan. I just wanted to also congratulate you, Jackie and Jamie. That's wonderful news. I know you didn't really have too much downtime during this whole COVID process, and I commend you for that. We're looking forward to doing the same, hopefully soon.
Yes.
Juan, I had a question for you about W-2 forms and other legal forms that are needed for the hiring. Is there a way to kind of automate it and integrate it into Pipehire, so when they are filling out the forms, or about sending them those documents?
Right now, we're working on I guess one of the most requested things is the fully digital onboarding process, in which you put all these PDFs that you need to collect and put them in the system, and then when you hire somebody, you send them this link, and this link opens on their phone, and then they sign everything on their phone or their computer. That is the vision for the product. Right now, we're working on making that step. But for now, the solution is, just do it as you do it manually. I do recommend that once you have the package signed, that you go into the file manager, and then you put it in basically the employee's file. We have a section here for, you can put it on their payroll, or you can create a new folder, called new hire package, and then you save it, and then you just drag the document there. And that is the way to really, at this point, use the W-2s. But for now, give us, I guess, a month or two to finish that process. But it will be fully digital. That way, it's even faster.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Very good.
All right. Anyone has any more questions? Lucy, I think I see your hand up.
It's in charge, but anyway, something that I noticed that you do, we use Jobber, and when we have the program, you download all the information that we have in Jobber to this program?
No, we don't integrate with Java. Typically, Java is kind of a very closed system. There's Zapier for that, but in reality, you know, we're not doing anything related to schedule or billing. The only thing that we have to add is our employees into the system.
Okay.
And then the way you do that is you go here and then you click add new. And then excuse me, employees, I click clients.
Yeah, we are not using clients, isn't it?
So employees, you go here and then you pick the form that you build. So that's why you have to first build the form. And then when you click there, you just have that form and then you enter their name and save it. Now, if you have, you know, a lot of employees and you don't want to do this manually, typing it up, you can send your employees the URL and say, hey guys, we're going to use a new system, please click on it. And then they will open it and then they will fill it for you. And then all of them will arrive at the funnel. And at that point, you just drag them into the into the active working stage. That way you have everyone as an employee. And then you just have to come back and change this date for all the employees. That's kind of the way we have it now. We plan to do some type of import tool. That way, if you have a lot of employees that you need to import, that you don't have to waste a lot of time on that process.
Okay, but you don't affect any customers. I'm sorry, you don't affect the customers' information in there, isn't it?
You do, but it's very limited to when you want to create a compliment or a complaint.
Oh yes, that was my point.
So you go to the compliment, and then you add a new compliment, and then you pick your employee, and then you pick the client that the complaint is associated with. And then you fill all these fields here. When you fill this, you have the option to send the feedback to the employee or not. You can only save it also if you don't want, because sometimes they send us hurtful things, right? It's not beautiful. The employee might get depressed, but you can also just save it and nothing happened. Or you can send the text with the category of the complaint or compliment. For example, she had a great performance, and then she can view the description.
Yeah, but we don't put the customer's information in there. Besides just the simple stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Juan, I just had a question about that field there. When that text goes out to the employee, what does it say, and can you edit what it says?
You cannot edit it right now. We're working on kind of those copies, so people want to see what happens. I will have to ask Luis exactly if you can have a screenshot of that, but typically it says, let me look one on my phone. I think I have one. Give me just a second here. I might show you. My employees love it. They love because it says, you got a new feedback, it's positive, and they get excited. Oh yeah, I have it here.
Yeah, I'm okay with the compliments. I'm just wondering about the complaints, if it's worded too harsh or
that's
what the wording is.
That's why I say this. When it's a complaint and you don't want them to see the copy because it's too hurtful or it's just ugly, you can only save it if you want, and the employee will never see it. It's only for your eyes. But if you want to still send the employee something, like she had a complaint about performance, but you don't want to let them read the whole copy of it, you uncheck this box. So they will just say, hey, you have a complaint about performance. That's it. They will not get the full ugly letter the employee sent, the customer sent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me share my phone here. Let me see if you guys see it. Connect your phone, trust. Oh, there you go. Right. This is a photo of one of my employees that sent me and say, hey, I love this. And this is how it looks like. You get the employee will see this in a URL, and they will see their name, the zip code of the complaint, the type of service they did, the name of the client, the date. There's a typo here. This should be complement. We fixed that already. And then great performance, and then the actual description. Now, when she clicks or touches the screen on text in Spanish, the system will translate it into Spanish for them. I cannot do it here because this is a photo that she sent me. But this is what they get when you send them a text message from a complaint or a compliment.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So so they basically get whatever you type on the form. That's what they get.
I have a question. It's Melissa. I know
Hey, Melissa.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
You probably answered this question before, but I think maybe I missed it. You know, when your social media, how to have the Pipehire on your Facebook, LinkedIn, you know, how to have it attached so when people are applying for a position that it's there on your platform. So if you can explain it a little bit more.
Didn't understand the question again. Can you do it?
Okay, so
again?
you know on Facebook how you can attach the Pipehire. So if an applicant wants to apply for a position, that instead of having the information already on the Facebook, that you could just use the Pipehire.
Mm-hmm.
How would we apply that on our social media, like for Facebook when candidates, like prospect client candidates, are applying for a position?
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, so you want to do is basically you guys see my screen again? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to distribute this URL. This URL will be unique for your form and for your company. So when you're talking in social media, Indeed, anywhere that you want to bring employees to apply, you give them this URL. Or if you already have your website with the embedded form, which if you don't mind, can I show yours, Jamie and Jackie? Which I think you guys have it embedded already.
Go ahead.
Made in Canada. What is
Made the day.
Made the day. Yeah. Made the day. So what you do is, the embedded form looks like this.
Click on more hiring.
Yeah, I click on it. It's navigating. There you go. So you put your copy of what you're doing, and then this is the form.
Okay.
This is an embedded form. So you can, give your careers page, or you can just give them this link, and this link will show your logo and then your form.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Cool. All right. Let's see if there's any more questions in the chat. And okay, Melissa. Oh, okay, you just asked the question, Melissa. Okay. And Andrews, Hog Andrews.
You didn't drink your pills last night.
Excuse me?
You know.
Hello, Jocelyn. Okay, I'm gonna answer Hong Andrews, and yes, the system works in Australia. We onboarded a client this week actually, so it does work. And when your applicants are applying, they will see this Australia here, and they will see the different territories. So it does work. All right, guys. If there's no more questions, thank you for coming. I hope this was useful for you guys. If there's questions more about business strategy or things of that nature about running your business or hiring particularly, on the bottom right here on Pipehire, you see this bubble right here. You can just click there and chat with us, and we'll be gladly helping you answer any questions. We don't know all the answers, but we're doing our best to know all the answers for you.
Juan, can I take a minute to of your time and ask you a question? So yeah. I have all these things in place. The one thing that's missing is really training my current employees. However, I don't have enough jobs, and I have so many applications, like positive, good applications in Pipehire. What do you suggest? Should I start doing the phone interview and going through Blue Sky's process, or wait, or reach out to everyone and tell them that we're going to start recruiting like in a few weeks? I'm a little bit confused. I don't want to lose these people, but at the same time, I don't have enough jobs to give. Yeah.
Well, you can do two things. You can say that, we're waiting for new jobs to come in, or you can, bring somebody, part-time. I know, Debbie's model is against really, and we don't like to do part-time, but if you feel this person is a great person or a great candidate, and you have your marketing going on, and you're gonna get more jobs, I will hire them on the spot. And especially if you receive PPP money and you know that in a month and a half you will have a better schedule for that person, I will hire them and say, I'm gonna give you a job, and we're not fully, the schedule is not full right now, but I'm gonna give you a job. I really like your profile. So you don't want to lose them, because once things start to pick up, it's going to be hard to find, great people.
That's right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys. I think we're going to call it a day. If there's any questions, please send them our way on the bubble. And I want to say good to see Jay here as well. I didn't get to hear her, but good to see you here. And thank you guys again. Please keep us in your head, share the message, tell other people that we exist. There's a lot of people that need this service, and we want to thank you for trusting us and believing in our product. We're doing our very best to make it an amazing experience for you. So thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for your time, Juan.
All right.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.